Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ben and this is the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Hey family, it's Thursday, so you know it's time for another helping of barbecue goodness. This is episode 14 of season 2, Living the Dream. In this season, I'll be chatting with some of the most successful barbecue entrepreneurs out there about the different types of business you can get into and what it takes to be successful. Have you ever looked at a smoker and thought, if that were me, I'd have done it another way? You might be sitting on an idea that could launch you a very tidy barbecue business. In this episode, Julianne from JAGRD Woodfired Smoker Ovens takes us into the life of a barbecue manufacturer, walking us through the entire process from idea to distribution. If you have a design and a desire, you are in the right place. So go grab yourself some homemade jerky and a tall glass, and let's get stuck into it.
This is the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast with barbecue pitmaster Ben Arnott. How long's it been since your last confession?
It's nice to see businesses out there that see the problems in the world and seek to solve them. Clean Heat Barbecue is one of these businesses. A charcoal and briquette manufacturer, Clean Heat prides themselves on being the most eco-friendly brand on the market today. Harvesting from an invasive species that's destroying valuable farmland in Namibia, Clean Heat Barbecue's products are sustainable, eco-friendly, 100% natural and renewable. Most importantly for barbecue enthusiasts, their products are clean burning and long lasting. It is the fuel of choice for many top barbecue teams in Australia, and Clean Heat Barbecue is known for being strong supporters of the Australian barbecue scene, sponsoring several competitions every season. At Clean Heat Barbecue, their motto is the 4 Fs: fire, food and friendship. When those three come together, you'll be fueling your passion. To find your local distributor of Clean Heat Barbecue products, follow Clean Heat Charcoal on Facebook at Clean Heat BBQ and on Instagram at clean_heat charcoal, and send Abel a PM. Hi Julianne, thank you for joining me in the confessional for this, the penultimate episode of Season 2, Living the Dream. The first thing I have to ask you is, what was the last thing you barbecued?
That was last night. Fired up the asado grill quickly for some loin chops, so nice and easy, hot and fast. So we had that with your basic sides. So whilst Glenn was working up the shed, I was firing that up and getting a simple dinner ready.
Sounds delicious.
They was actually. They had a nice skin on the outside, so they caramelised up nicely.
Do you find that the asado grill cooks things up differently to a standard grill?
I think so, because you can adjust the height. So you're not sort of cooking on that one level in fear of burning, with those hot coals. So even with the coals hot, you can raise the grill so that it, cooks at the time and temperature that you want, so that it's, it's a lot easier, I think, to adjust your temp on the grill like that. Yeah, for sure.
Okie dokie. Just continuing on from that, we're actually recording this today on Australia Day. So what's your plans for cooking something up for Australia Day?
Well, sadly, I'm not cooking. Once again, Glenn's in the shed for the moment, and then we're off to a cousin's who is going to be throwing stuff on the barbie today. So that'll be interesting, standing back and having someone else do the cooking. Get a little bit antsy standing by and watching, but I'm sure we'll have a good chat anyway.
You don't think that the cousin's going to get there and go, "Oh, Julianne's here," and then stand back and hand you the tongs? No. A man or a woman's grill is their own. No. Oh, fantastic. Now, given that you're a barbecue manufacturer, I'm going to modify the next question a little and make it a bit more specific. So, when you're cooking a midweek after-work barbecue, what's your go-to rig?
Generally, it's the Black Beauty, the smaller of our smokers, wood-fired ovens. she fires up within 30 minutes. So I usually, whatever it is that we're cooking in the afternoon or for that evening, goes in there. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter whether I throw in some chicken or even a casserole pot can go in there. But, your old cookers and those sorts of things. So, yeah, it's generally the JAGRD that we'll go to. Whatever I take out of the freezer that afternoon goes in there. Yeah.
30 minutes to get up to temp is incredible. I've got an electric oven in my house, and when I want to cook midweek in that, it takes 30 minutes to get up to temperature. So 30 minutes and it's outside so the kitchen doesn't get hot. That's awesome.
No, exactly, and that's a big thing. I can't remember the last time I cooked inside, and if I did, it would have been reluctantly. But, yeah, because of the time, there's no time really. By the time you light your fire and get inside and prep a little bit, she's good to go. All wood, so the wood obviously helps get the temperature and the heat in there a lot quicker.
Yeah, definitely, and that beautiful wood-fired flavour as well.
Oh, absolutely. I never get tired of that.
Yeah. So what's your favourite thing to cook?
My favourite thing, there's many, but to have a particular, it'd have to be pork ribs, either low and slow or hot and fast, because they're pretty well forgiving, so to speak. You get that nice sweet flavour, easy eat, fingers food, so to speak. Everyone loves a pork rib too. So I either throw them into the Black Beauty, JAGRD, the standard, or for, 3-4 hours, and the traditional wrap and all that sort of stuff, or I throw them on the grill, the asado. I was watching a Barbecue Pit Boys video at some stage for 1 hour ribs, and I thought, no way. So he put them on an asado wrap first. So sadly there's not a great deal. There's no real smoky flavour, but they come out just as tender, which is quite amazing. So that's what we usually do at comps when we have tips for treats. I'll throw half a dozen racks on the asado and they're ready within the hour, which is great. Yeah.
Right. Did you just say tips for treats? What's that?
Tips for Treats is a great initiative that the Smoking Charity Barbecue events team run at all the competitions here, the smoking comps here. So basically after the teams have finished their turn-ins and they've got half an hour to relax, basically the public comes in and purchases a $5 tips card, which also becomes their People's Choice voting card, and they can go around and taste the competitors' teams' foods that they've cooked overnight, whatever's left over, and my goodness, do they cook a whole lot more to share. And that $5 goes to charity, straight to charity, which is wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful initiative. We could never get away with that over here. The Gold Coast City Council shuts that down real quick.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, at the local comps here, we are not allowed to give food away to anybody unless every team at the competition has a food license and it's a food and it's a properly licensed venue event.
It possibly will come to that here, but at present we're blessed and able to go under the Mondo Community Warriors banner and insurance. Because we're not selling it, well, we're not personally selling it, it comes under Mondo, we can currently work that way. But I think councils here are starting to sort of come to the same level of possibly asking teams to register as a food vendor, so to speak, whereas they're not selling. But yeah, which will be sad. It'll make it a little bit more difficult, but certainly not impossible.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're so strict on it over here. We can't even give it away without that food license. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, wow, it is.
And it's sad.
It is, because there's so many people just hankering to get a taste and don't get to these things often, and to be able to taste the team's produce too, what they produce, is amazing, which is completely, of course, different to what we would normally cook at for ourselves, but it's a different level again.
For sure. So how did you get into the low and slow scene?
I was actually sent a message by one of our customers, because we've been on the market since 2014. So late 2015, I get a message from David up in Queensland, and he said, you've really got to check out this new group. He was contemplating, having a go. So he introduced me to the ABA page. And that was the first I'd really heard of low and slow. I'd never been brought up with it, or had any great knowledge of it. So from there, I obviously perused the many posts on that page, which was, a small gathering at that stage. Now it's crazy, over 50,000. But yeah, just reading, they had so many tips and everything like that. So I just read and, of course, Googled and researched, and I just, wanted to not only test myself but test our product, our ovens, smokers on this new method too. So yeah, I just practiced and researched and fell in love with it. So. And Glenn had a mouthful.
And so once he tried it, he was on board.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Comps was a different story. He needed a little coaxing there, but definitely. No, it's pretty well what we do now, either low and slow or hot and fast, the same produce, the same proteins.
That's great. That's great.
Barbecue.
Now, you're a key figure in the barbecue scene in WA. What is it about the low and slow scene that keeps you so involved?
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's an honour to be considered a key figure, but definitely the community. Seriously, just the support and the encouragement we get through them, and just sharing ideas and just with those around. And great love of sharing barbecue and Woodfired, and definitely the community and how they sort of spreading the word of barbecue and having those like-minded people in your group is terrific. And just sharing that and having people sort of have confidence in me myself to promote it also. Is a great honour. Like through Smoking in the Water, Stefan asked me to help coordinate the Smoke on the Water here, which was in November last year, and I loved it. I could, I think I found my calling there. So just to be able to share and bring the public in, and as you say, have them, share those. The fruits of the team's labour and appreciate it is amazing. And, definitely the community. They come up here. We have a big barbecue meet here probably once or twice a year where we have about 100 or so families and kids. It's great to see the kids running around and enjoying the ambience of the wood fire and wowing at their foods coming out of a wood fire and that sort of thing. So I just love the community. 100
families. Do you live on a property or something?
Yeah, we've got 10 acres here in about an hour and a bit, depending on where you're coming from Perth. So it's a great little getaway for everybody, and it's wonderful to be able to open it up to those that are coming from the city. And, we've got a few horses here and the kids get around and give them a feed, and it's a great experience for everyone. So it's really an epitome of the barbecue family and how everyone gets together and shares. Yeah, so we're blessed to be able to do that.
That sounds absolutely lovely. So with all your experience in the WA scene, have you seen the development of a Western Australian flavour profile? What I'm asking is what makes Western Australian barbecue unique?
I'm not too sure whether we've actually found our own feet and flavour yet. I think everyone's sort of still, not the pro team, so to speak, but they're starting to come to their own with their own flavours and stuff like that. But it seems to be still the sweet and the heat sweet combination, the sweet heats and those sorts of things. But yeah, I think some are trying to buck the trend and go their own way, which is terrific. I recall that I tried to do the same thing through a competition, which is probably not always a good practice. And one of the judges came back, I didn't recognise the flavour. So obviously they've got in their mind in a particular flavour that should be on a protein. So it's sort of hard to turn those thoughts or around or introduce other flavours, I guess, at the moment. But as time progresses, I'm pretty sure that we'll definitely find our own feet and our own flavours for sure.
Yeah, that's a real danger on the comp circuit at the moment, that as the scene grows, which is fantastic, and the knowledge is spread, which is also fantastic, judges are going to go in with a preconceived idea. And we in Australia here, we have a real opportunity to take this concept and take barbecue as a concept rather than a concrete prescribed methodology, and really make that our own. And so I've tried to do things where I incorporate, Queensland flavors. I'll bring in mangoes and pineapple and all this sort of stuff, and come up with things that we over here in Queensland, my friends and family just adore. But I put it in front of the judges and I just get shellacked. Absolutely shellacked.
It's disheartening, isn't it? It's terrible. You're trying to buck the trend, so to speak, or, as you say, bring in those local flavours. But, it's funny what it's hard to know what they expect sometimes. But that's all part of the game, I guess, is nutting that out.
Yeah, I'm not giving up, though. I'm gonna pursue it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even, from top to bottom to middle, no matter where you place the drive to go again is just, it doesn't end. I mean, we've got our next comp in early next month, and, looking forward to it.
So can you tell us the story of how JAGRD the business came about?
Oh, JAGRD the business. JAGRD the business came about actually it was probably 2009, when we were sitting around having a conversation with family over a few drinks, and they'd come to visit. We were living in Victoria at the time. I'd taken Glenn home to meet my family over there, and both working for, the average Joe. I was sadly working in an office, or not sadly, but I was working in an office with 4 walls and no windows. So we were hankering to find something we could do together. And we were just, nutting over things, and someone suggested at that stage it was wood-fired pizza. Everyone loves a pizza and those sorts of things, and we love wood-fired. So basically 12 months later, as soon as Glenn has something in his head, he just runs with it. So 12 months later, we had our first trailer built. Glenn built it and put on a standard dome oven, the traditional domes. And, we started in our backyard. So served in our driveway. At that stage in Victoria, you were able to easily register your home kitchen, which is what we did. We did that through the council, of course. And, served to family and friends, and had the opening karaoke night. And
oh, wow.
Everyone came to the driveway and tried out JAGRD Woodfired. So, and it was a hit. It was a small little town in Victoria, and seriously, without their encouragement in Stanhope, which is close to Shepparton and Bendigo, we just, without their constant encouragement, we wouldn't be where we are today for sure. So that's where JAGRD started, and then we went on the road for 4 years, sort of living the dream, so to speak, and just catered. We catered, we ended up doing the beef rolls, the slow-cooked beef rolls and those sorts of things, which were a hit on the road. And, so JAGRD went from there to then finding a new and easier way to cook these pizzas and faster, and ended up designing our own ovens through that.
So when you say that you went on the road, do you mean that you were based out of your house in Melbourne and going out to an event and back home again? Or do you mean you actually planned a route around Australia and hit up events everywhere you went?
Yes. Well, as I said, we started in Victoria, and that was a small visit, supposed to be a small visit, but we stayed there for 3 years, and that's where we built the trailer. And we bought an old horse truck, and converted that, took out all the insides out the back. Glenn did a wonderful job. Pulled all the insides out and rebuilt the back with stainless steel benches, plumbing, water tanks underneath. We even had a dishwasher. And so that was in half of the truck in the horse part, and we got that registered. And then there was a sleeping half with above the cab of the truck that was our living area. So probably I would say our living area would have been about 3 metres by 2.5 metres. And then, of course, the kitchen on the back was probably about 2 metres by 2 metres again, or 3 metres. And we worked out of that, travelling, booking into shows. When you get into shows, sadly, you have to book sometimes, which is not a bad thing when you're on the road, really. But you've got to book, 3, 4, 6 months in advance. So we had a route already set. So we came across from Victoria, started doing all the festivals and events here, and we just basically slept on site. That was our 4 years travelling on the road from site to site and meeting wonderful people, and full-time Woodfired.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was. If anyone's thinking about it, it doesn't make you $1 million, but it certainly affords you a wonderful lifestyle in that respect. If you're going to vendor or cater in that respect, in that way. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it was lots of fun. The fact that Glenn and I could work together, which some people found hard to believe 24/7 with your spouse, but that's just the way we work. Yeah, so it was great fun. Met a lot of lovely people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So as a husband and wife team, how do your skills complement each other, and how do you divide responsibilities?
Glenn's the builder. He's a magician when it comes to designing and putting things together. I mean, he started this new project probably a week and a half ago, if that, and he's already at finishing point. So he's always has a bee in his bonnet, and he runs with it. So Glenn is most definitely the builder. On occasion, and you might see me get in there and help him cut some steel up in lengths and all those sorts of things for him. But so Glenn is in the shed, and so to speak, and I am the accounts, the marketing, having that experience in my background of accounts from way back when. And, so accounts, marketing, distribution, logistics and competitions and testing out the ovens. My big job is to test out the products. And I sort of say it needs this or it needs that, or, where is that blue smoke? Why aren't we getting that? So Glenn tweaks those things to get it right. Yeah.
Sounds like a very well organised setup there.
Yeah.
So getting back to the ovens themselves, the full name is JAGRD Wood-Fired Smoker Ovens. What exactly is a JAGRD?
Well, the wood-fired smoker ovens is put there for the simple reason of SEO and and reach through our website. So our actual business name is JAGRD Woodfired. The JAGRD name came about through Glenn and myself, of course. It's Julianne, Glenn, Richard Davies. I guess JAGRD is us to a very big degree. But JAGRD Woodfired is just universal. We love wood-fired in every sense of the word, and to encourage and present people an easier way or any way of getting into it is where JAGRD is. So with our products, they range from our JAGRD Black Beauty, which is our standard, which is what we advise for backyards and those starting out, of course. Not such a big family, good for 2 or more, because you can fit 4 to 5 pizzas in that. And then you've got our stretch, which is the 3-shelf sort of first entry level to catering or the bigger crowds. And that's 3 stainless shelves. And then, of course, you've got our beast. And JAGRD is vast and broad in what it is, I guess. And now with this new product, we're hoping to take her even further, or just the concept of wood-fired and charcoal and those sorts of things.
So from that, I gather that you started with the concept of a wood-fired pizza oven and then modified it for low and slow barbecue. Did I get that right?
Well, surprisingly, we didn't have to modify it at all. And this was one of the amazing things, which is what obviously David saw in it in introducing us to the ABA and low and slow. Because at that stage, as I said, this was back in, late 2015, early mid-15. I'd not heard much about low and slow. So to go to put our oven or smoke or whatever you want to call it, to the test of low and slow was interesting, which is another reason, I guess, for starting the competitions, just to see where she did sit in that category of smoker, low and slow smokers. So just tweaking only through the dampers and the small adjustment of the original model, we found that it can do a whole new method. So which was wonderful. And I'm sort of stuck on that myself at the moment. I can't remember, sadly, the last time I had a wood-fired pizza. The only time we tend to throw the pizzas in is when the kids come up for the meet-up. That's the first thing we cook. Generally, once the brisket and the pork butts are resting, I bump her up and we throw in some pizzas for the kids to get through lunch, and then we start throwing everything else in, which is terrific.
Love that story. I hope David from Queensland's got some shares in the business now.
Oh, he's wonderful. He's such a sweet fellow, and he's a huge encouragement even to this day. And he's a mad. He's got almost a sea container full of camp ovens. They are absolutely beautiful. I said to him, we just need to swap half. I'll just have half, and he'll still be left with half a container and a container load. But so he's a great encouragement, and as a many along the way.
Beautiful. Now, you briefly mentioned competitions before. The first time I saw a JAGRD was at the Brisbane Barbecue Festival in 2016. How did you organise that, and what was the experience like?
Oh, well, after the excitement of winning Grand Champion here in the March at the Cider and Pork Festival, and meeting everybody, or not physically meeting, but, getting to know the Eastern States community over there, the Shank sisters, Rachel's lovely, and, just going adding to the conversations over time, we really wanted to get over there and meet everybody and be a part and experience that side, because our competitions here at that stage were quite small. We'd be lucky to get 10 teams. So we went over there. We travelled, just basically booked it. We got a few sponsors to help us along the way. Where the fellow that Glenn was working with, they helped sponsor our fuel. So they gave us a certain amount on a fuel card that we carried with us. And our meat was sponsored through a local butcher here at the time, the Meat Hook. And, so that helped us afford a little. But, we basically just packed everything up in the trailer and ourselves, of course, and travelled non-stop. Oh, my goodness. We left on the Monday and we got to Brisbane. We've got family there in Hervey Bay, and we got there on the Thursday before. Yeah, so it was a crazy just drive. You sleep, I'll drive. You sleep, I'll drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy trip. And we lost a couple of, oh, goodness, I was driving, Glenn was sleeping, and a tyre blew out on the trailer. And so in the middle of the night, torch and rain, we were changing tyres, and it was a great adventure. But well worth it. No, it was terrific. We loved it. So, just we even had, because as I said, I have family over that way. So we even introduced and had my cousin Ash come and join us on the team. So he had a ball getting to know barbecue comp and foods and how it was cooked. And so, it was great. Loved it.
Yeah, now that's not the furthest you've travelled for a barbecue comp, though. You've competed in Houston at the World's Championship Barbecue Contest. Can you tell us that story?
Wow. Well, that was through sponsored an initiative through the ABA, which they're still doing. But we went through how they drew it. The first year was those that had won a grand champion since their inception, I think was 2014 back in Port Mac. So anyone who had won a grand champion, reserve grand champion, or a place in a ABA barbecue competition got a certain amount of ticket entries or drawn entries. So as GCs, we got 3 entries. And then, of course, reserves got 2 and a place got 1 entry into the draw. And that was a live draw with Jess Pryles and Ryan from Pits and Spits, who was also sponsoring the initiative to get us over to the Houston World Barbecue Championships. And, so on the live feed, we got drawn out to go, which was a huge shock. Sadly, but we put it down to must have been meant to be. Sadly, the first one that picked out Ryan dropped. And then he put his hand in the bowl again, basically, and picked out Jagged Wood, Smoking Hot Jagged Edge, which is our barbecue team name. Yeah, so we went over there and competed. That was an amazing experience. I mean, just to get drawn and be in that position to be drawn was huge to start with. But that was my first time out of Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was crazy. But, it was huge. So we went over there, and being a small team ourselves and chosen, we could have very well just gone on our own. But there was an opportunity to take up to a team of 6 at that stage. So we thought, why not invite others to join our team and take the opportunity to have that experience too, once in a lifetime, my goodness. So we invited a few other fellows from other champion teams here in WA to join us, which was great, so to share that. So we went over as the Jagged Liquid Griller Groper team. That's a mouthful. So a combination of all the teams invited, us being drawn, of course, were combined into the one team, which was great to share that experience. Yeah.
And how was the competition itself?
Oh, huge. I mean, you'd walk past some of these tents and they're just massive. I mean, they've got on the outside, they've got a capacity that they can allow into the tent at any certain time. And some of these tents were holding up to, 900 people. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. They're absolutely huge. They've got a band, smokers one end, band in the middle, and a free bar at the other end. As soon as you walk in, they're wonderful, wonderful hosts wherever you go. But being an international team, gives you, I guess, the opportunity to go into more tents than others would, as they're all paid entry. So people pay. This is how they raise their funds. It's a huge charity event itself, which is another wonderful reason to be a part of it. But, yeah, basically people purchase a ticket to enter these tents, and once they get in there, basically all food and alcohol is free, so long as they're in there. And of course, the Aussies are welcomed in and fed very well on alcohol first, of course, and then they're more than happy to show you their pits and everything. And we've made some fantastic friends and since then, and carried them home with us. But yeah, it's definitely an eye-opener. It's huge. I mean, when we were there was 250 teams, and that was, coming from WA, which is the max 20 teams, to 250 teams on this huge, huge area. And, just treated the people that, Darlene and Buddy that look after you in the international tent, couldn't have been any more lovely. Serving at the bar. Of course, there's a bar at the international tent too. So, yeah, bottoms up. But, yeah, just to walk around, it was just flabbergasting. And they've got over 1,300 or 13,000 volunteers over that weekend. Yeah, it's a crazy amount of people. And if I recall correctly, that weekend, because all the teams are sponsored outside. So basically, you've got all these barbecue teams, that are going to be there cooking and raising funds, but they're all sponsored by outside butchers or builders or whatever else have you that come in and build their site, and then they just go in and they cook and raise funds with all the entry. So they managed to raise 21 million at that one competition. Which
Seriously?
Seriously. How that is just almost unbelievable. Yeah. Crazy. Some of the tents that we went in would have, one fellow said, cost $80,000 in sponsorship to put together. Just the amount of effort and funds that people put towards raising funds for charity is it's just a blessing to be a part of. And the people were just couldn't have asked for better hospitality. Yeah. Yes, I remember being dragged by Marty. She was a lady that we went and from the barbecue social club, and she was the pit master there, and she was prepping a whole hog and for the day after and to serve, and she was lovely, and she just grabbed me and dragged me to the front seat of the band that is not far from basically outside the international tent, so I could get front eye view. And yeah, they really look after you. Yeah, get just as excited as you do, I think.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, it was an amazing, and to place where we did was even more amazing. Which is terrific.
How did you go there?
Well, overall, because at that stage they were only offering the international teams to cook one protein. So you had the choice of brisket, chicken, or pork ribs. And so pork ribs being my favourite, I chose those. So altogether, there was 486 entries. And they're all judged on the same level, which is, I don't know how they work it, but basically brisket, chicken and pork ribs are all scored together or at the same time and against each other, so to speak. And we ended up coming 158, which was top third, which is, even beat Tuffy Stone at ribs. How crazy is that?
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, so with the 6 international teams, that took us to reserve grand champion in the internationals tent, which was totally blew me away. I mean, you were cooking amongst, some top, you've got Tuffy Stone here, you've got Joey next door in the champion tents, and Carlos in those right next to you, and you come that far, and that was a huge. It was a great boost for myself anyway, because often we doubt our own abilities. So that was, it was amazing to go up against such formidable teams and rate there.
This is Jess Pryles, and you're listening to Smoking Hot Confessions.
If you're looking to get behind an Australian company that gets behind Australians, you need to check out Brothers BBQ. They're a Brisbane-based business that are known for supporting our returned servicemen and women. They have 3 pre-blended rubs and 15 individual ingredients, making it super easy for you to create your own unique taste sensation. My personal favourite is the rosemary, lemon and sea salt rub. It's sensational on chicken wings with a sweet barbecue sauce. They also stock premium Gidgee lump charcoal, which is grown and cooked in Queensland. While 2017 has been a big year, 2018 is going to be even bigger. They're launching a custom-designed offset smoker, 3 premium gravies, and are working with competition teams to develop some special new rub blends, such as Porkapalooza by the Smoke and Sappers. You can keep up with all the Pitt Brothers news on Facebook and Instagram by following @PittBroBBQ. Right now, they're offering an exclusive deal for you Smoking Hot Confessions listeners. Head on over to pitbrothersbbq.com.au, that's pitbrothersbbq, and use the word confessions at checkout for a 10% discount. Once again, use confessions at checkout to get your 10% discount. And we're back. In this segment, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of barbecue manufacturing. So to kick things off, Julianne, what's your background? How has your background helped you get set up?
I guess my background, my personal background is as accounts and marketing and those sorts of things. So a little bit of research on what the public were looking for, and I guess being on the road all those years helped us come to that conclusion too, that there was a need out there for something that was mobile, especially in the wood-fired oven smoker sector at that stage. So that helped confirm the need there. And so that helps keep on top of things. With business, you always need to keep on top of those accounts and those sorts of things, letting things get fleeted away. Glenn's background as the builder, he's pretty well a jack of all trades. He's been on the farms for some years and a driller. Probably he's gone into last 20 years. He was a driller. So learned many a skill doing both of those things. So I guess our background has really got nothing to do with manufacturing as such. It was just a matter of it sort of just progressed into that over time. and just gone from there.
So transferable skills is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's right, definitely, especially when it comes to Glenn and design and research and that sort of stuff with his welding, and it definitely has transferred over to manufacturing.
Well, that's a good point for listeners who are thinking about starting their own business. You don't necessarily need to have experience in that business already, but just take a good stock of what transferable skills you might have, and then find a partner or outsource the rest.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's no reason why you can't outsource some products. I mean, Glenn started building the ovens from scratch, including stainless shelves and all that sort of stuff. And it got to a stage where we were quite busy, and time was a restraint too. Obviously, you don't stop working. Sometimes you have to work 2 jobs. And so we started outsourcing to local manufacturers, and so we get our stainless shelves now welded up through Kendall's sheet metal, and they do a great job. So it's great to sort of share part of that growth with them too, and give them a little bit of a work on the side. So, and it frees Glenn up to do a little bit of other more research and do his thing in the shed.
Absolutely, that sounds like a solid plan. So how has your life changed since becoming a barbecue manufacturer?
Oh yeah, well, it's given us an opportunity to get involved with obviously we love Woodfired, and to be involved once again with the community and sharing that love more openly and wider, I guess, has definitely changed. And being on the road for such a long time, obviously from place to place to place, it's hard to take those friends and family with you, but to come and now settle here in Perth and to grow that friend base and that family support here is definitely changed in that respect. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. So for the listeners out there who are thinking of starting to build their own smokers, where should they start?
I guess looking around at others and to seeing what others are using, what others are, that comes back into your research again. But there's lots of stuff on the internet, on the Google and those sorts of things. I mean, if you're looking, we're not restricted or biased on what you want to build. If it's wood-fired or charcoal, we'll tell you to go and look at Franklin's graph for offsets and all those sorts of things. We encourage people to do their own thing. There's plenty of research and information on the net. I guess it's just having the drive and the know-how, I guess. And ask around. There's plenty of people in the industry, hopefully you're in contact with, that can give you lots of advice and that encouragement back, or even a helping hand on the way.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shortage of people that would be willing to help out in the barbecue community.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah. So what resources would they need to get going?
Well, you don't need a lot other than the passion to do it and to start. You've got to start somewhere. So when it comes to building a smoker, you need as little as a welder and a gas axe and patience. You don't need a lot of equipment to start. And obviously, as time goes, you make your little tweaks and everything on the way. Just have a go. Just get in there and see what you can come up with. But there's plenty of info on, as I said, Google and stuff that will point you in the right direction if no one else can.
I love it. Fantastic. So what steps are involved in going from idea to prototype?
It always starts with a drawing on a pad, idea in the head, and transferred again down to something that's visual. Glenn can explain something to me so very clearly to him, but until I see it sitting on a drawing or in physical form, sometimes I find it hard to get the concept. So drawings are definitely a start, just so that you can get from your head onto paper what it is that you're looking for. And then, of course, what materials you want to use. You need to research that. I mean, we use a strong 6mm steel, and that's our preference. We want it to last, something that's going to last, and not only yourself, but something you can pass down. So, and something that's going to be preferably in our respect, it's versatile, but depending on what you want to cook, as I said, the offsets are if you're just into your meats and nothing else, so to speak, or little else, I should say. And then it's the build, obviously putting it together from paper to the physical product. Testing's a big thing. You've got to you can't put anything out there that you're not going to use yourself, or that doesn't work, of course. So testing is a big thing. As I said, with this new model that Glenn is putting together at the moment, he said he was going to leave it till Sunday, Monday, or it should be ready Sunday, Monday to fire up and test. But come midnight last night, of course, we were firing it up just to test her out to see how she went. So testing's a very, very big thing. But if you're just making it for home, for yourself, you can do that over time as you test your meats and know, the amount of smoke that's staying in or that you want in or out, and how your firebox works. This is where Glenn's background and everything comes in with his design, which is probably a little hard for people to understand, how it can go from a low and slow to a hot and fast so quickly and easily. But that's a little secret we'll keep to ourselves.
Fair enough. You can't reveal it all in a podcast.
No, you cannot. And then, of course, you've got, once you start testing, there's little modifications and those sorts of things. And then sometimes you have to go right back to the start and repeat the whole process and, sometimes see where you went wrong or give yourself a pat on the back and, fingers crossed it all works well. Yeah.
So once you've got your prototype down, what's involved in going from prototype to production?
I guess the big thing is marketing, is letting people know what you're doing and when, or even involving them in the process. Our Facebook is a great communicator in that respect. Love to sort of just, people are a part of JAGRD. And so marketing in that respect, in sharing the progress of each stage, which we have done with this latest one also. And, marketing is a big thing, just getting out expressions of interest. There's no point in going full hog, so to speak, I guess.
Nice.
Unless, of course, your research is, told you differently. But if you've got a whole new concept that's coming out, which is what ours is, and the marketing is continuing. But that's a definite getting people's opinions, so to speak. And then, of course, to display. When we first started, we went to markets and festivals, and we had our oven or smoker sitting beside a built one, a clean one, sitting beside what we were working with as we were working the wood-fired oven beside. So getting people to see it and touch it is a big thing that we found. We went great guns when we were constantly in people's faces, so to speak, at markets and festivals and events. And, we'd go to pool and outdoor festivals, the Better Homes and Gardens Festival we did here in Perth, and we'd take our product there and display it. The big thing is people, if you're going to sell something, people want mostly to feel and touch it, and, especially if you profess that it does all this and that, which is a big thing. But we did notice the big difference once we came off the road and stopped doing displays, that Facebook is a big marketing tool for us. And funnily enough, in the last probably 12 months, I would say 70% of our JAGRDs have gone across east, which is great encouragement, because not one of them have seen or touched or seen it working. So they've trusted in the product, and that's another big thing. They need to be able to see, like, for us, we use our products all the time, not just for the fact of showing, but we love using them. But people can see that that we're using it, and build that trust in that respect when you can't get out and display it.
That's fascinating that so many of those units have come across to the East Coast. Given that they're so heavy and the way the population is spread around Australia, Perth is quite remote in many regards. How do you handle distribution?
Well, basically it goes, we've got done our homework, and we've gotten onto a really great transport company here. We work with Sadliers, and they go from capital city, so from Perth depot to depot in each capital city, and they've got some really great rates, considering it's 290 kilos. For example, from Perth to, say, Queensland, for our standard is about $300, if that. Yeah, and then, of course, if you want it delivered closer to your door, we always look up local couriers that can pick it up from the capital city depot and take it over further for you. Yeah.
Wow, $300 to get that all the way across the continent. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's great, and it's, funnily enough, it's actually cheaper to send it to east rather than it is to send it to north here in WA than it is, say, to Karratha here.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, which is crazy, because it's sort of, out of the way, outback, and up in the Pilbara. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's crazy.
So what's the hardest thing about being a barbecue manufacturer?
Oh, I think the hardest thing for us is getting our product understood. As I said, in the one product, basically you're going, well, I've had it as low as under 100 Cs doing Chipotle for 9 hours, and then, you can bump her up to your low and slow temps at 250, 275, or it's hard for us, in our respect, for people to understand the concept in one product. So that would be the hardest thing for us as a manufacturer, and just having people work it. Once they do, my goodness, they don't turn back, and sadly others barbecues that they've had are left behind, but it's good for them, it's good for us, but yeah, I think that's the hardest thing. But it's just a simple tweak, and you can go from low to high and sit outside and enjoy the warmth of wood fire. Yeah, so I think it's the hardest thing would be to have people understand your concept, or getting your product out there. Yeah.
So that's where we'd tie back into social media there, wouldn't we? You'd be using your Facebooks and Instagrams and all that to get that message clear.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, as much as we don't like to, we, through boosts and things like that, like I had a fellow call me this morning from Instagram, and he's a local fellow that had not seen them before, and he'll probably come up on Monday and have a further chat. And yeah, so definitely social media is a big. If you can build those relationships with those that have interest. I mean, over the years that we've been on social media, I think we joined in 2010, so it's a bit of a long haul, but we've acquired, over 9,000 followers over the time. So, hopefully them and friends of friends and so on and so on. Social media does spread. So if you can introduce yourself and your product through that avenue, definitely is the way to go.
Yeah, I think you just hit on a key point there when you said building relationships on social media, because there's a big difference between building relationships and just vomiting your product all over everybody. So what would be your tip for building a relationship?
For me, for us, we're not our page is a community page, and it's not sell. If your product's good, it will speak for itself. So once again, just use your product, build that trust, communicate. If someone's comments on your post, it's like a conversation. Treat it as like a conversation. Don't shy away from answering people. Be honest, for sure, in what, don't over-exaggerate for a sale or anything like that. I think if you go to our page, you'll very rarely see a sale post or come buy with me or, come take it home. It's usually, just sharing what you do, and hopefully that will encourage others to get on board and support what you're doing.
Beautiful advice. So let's flip that around now. What's the best thing about being a barbecue manufacturer?
Oh, look, without a doubt, is just seeing people excited about Woodfired, even little ones. We've dropped off ovens and our first point of call, because you can fluctuate our heat so much. We always tell people, bump her right up as far as you can, get her up to 500-600 Fahrenheit, and throw in the pizzas. And as soon as the kids see that, the kids want to get involved straight away. So the best thing is to see that barbecue family grow, and the enthusiasm of the little ones, and just sharing it, just being able to share what you love is a huge blessing for sure. And that would be definitely, and seeing others using our product too, and recommending it to others and saying that they wouldn't turn back and all that sort of stuff is a huge encouragement. Yeah, but more just watching people enjoying the fact that they're cooking outside and they're involving everybody's getting involved with it. And yeah, that's a huge thing for us.
So the connection to other humans, to other people.
Absolutely. And as I said, being off the road, or being on the road for some time, that's just to have that those relationships build through us manufacturing and sharing barbecue with other people is been huge.
So overall, how would you rate being a barbecue manufacturer?
Overall, it's not always as glamorous as it looks. Facebook and social media is wonderful, but overall, we love it. Glenn loves to tinker, so to speak, in the shed and put something together and have it work and have it shared, and he doubts himself sometimes, and it's great to have that confirmation that what he's doing is good, and is helping others and encouraging others. So overall I'd rate it personally as top notch. We enjoy it. We've been doing it for introduced some 4 years ago now, our JAGRDs onto the market, and they're not going away any day soon.
You're listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast with barbecue pitmaster Ben Arnott.
Local products don't get much more local than Ministry of Smoke's Smoking Woods. An Australian family-owned company specialising in native hardwoods as well as fruitwoods, Rod has never revealed his sources of his timber. But they do come from premium New South Wales and Queensland timber regions. I exclusively use Rod's products with Smoking Hot Confessions, and my favourites are his ironbark and applewood. And his Gidgee lump charcoal is killer. Most exciting, Rod now produces his own range of pellets, including red wine oak barrel and ironbark. These can be used in pellet grills and in smoker boxes in other types of barbecues. They're also great in the uni pellet pizza ovens for a delicious combination of smoke and pizza. As an added bonus, all his pellets are sold in food-grade pails, so they're great for commercial operations as they can be repurposed. You can reach out to Rod on Facebook. Just search for Ministry of Smoke and shoot him a message. Okay, Julianne, we are now in segment 3. Now, in segment 2, you were talking about building relationships with people through social media. You've obviously done that because we have a ton of really good listener questions here for you today. I've selected a dozen of the best, and we'll see how we get into them. How about that?
Yeah, awesome.
Hi, Julianne. Benson from Newcastle here. Having competed on the east and west coasts, what do you find are the differences between the two scenes, if any? Thank you.
Hey, Benton. Thank you. I would say the biggest difference in the two scenes from east to west is the size of the competitions. Our biggest to date here has been 24 teams at Smoking on the Water, which I helped coordinate, which was wonderful. But the teams over there and the comps over there are huge, and not only in numbers but in the skills that are practiced over there. You guys certainly have piqued everybody's abilities here. We need to up our game to get over there, except Boyd. My goodness, Boyd travels far and wide and he is a gem. Don't know how he does it. But yeah, as for the two different scenes, I would definitely say size in competitions. And I guess you guys may have settled or are more open to new profiles over there. But at the moment, we're sort of still growing, I guess, over here ourselves. So, yeah.
Hi, it's Dion from the Mid-North Coast, New South Wales. Julianne, what is the biggest difference between a JAGRD smoker and any other smoker? Thanks.
The all-important question. The difference between JAGRD and any other smoker is the fact that a JAGRD is not just a smoker. This is why it's hard to sort of put a name to what we do, because a JAGRD is a grand champion low and slow smoker, as was kindly pointed out by Robert Maxwell from Radar Hill when we won. He said, take that. So it is. But also it's, it's unlike other smokers. You can get your heat in and maintain it. A JAGRD is fully insulated from firebox right down and around the cooking chamber area. So that helps maintain the temperature, whether you're low and slowing, as previously said. I've had it as low as under 100 Celsius for smoking Chipotle, which is so sweet in the smoker. And then, of course, you can bump her up as high as 600, 300, 350 Celsius to do your pizzas. And in between, you've got your baking, and if you're into it, your baking of your breads and stuff. So that's the difference between our smoker and others, is that she's so versatile. And you only really need one, but who wants just one? Yeah. So yeah, and the fact that the kids can get in and enjoy the Woodfired as well. It's not just a dad's job, so to speak. It's the whole family getting involved in the Woodfired, from low and slow right through to pizzas.
Hi, it's Alan from Bribey Island. Julianne, what is your favourite protein to cook, and what has been your most successful protein? Thanks.
Oh, my favourite protein would definitely be pork ribs. Once again, they're a winner with anybody, and they're always a quick favourite to share. And when anyone's looking for low and slow, I guess pork ribs and briskets as their first port of call. And that's also probably been my biggest success, taking those to Houston and our flavours to Houston with our pork ribs. Yeah, over there. We ended up taking our own wood over there, our own jam wood. So whether that had a bearing on our placing so high, I don't know, but I like to think that we introduced a little bit of Aussie flavour over there, which encouraged the scoring. But definitely ribs. Ribs is definitely, you can do them low and slow or as hot and fast as you like. Just wrap them up and treat them nice.
Now, that's interesting, because there's no way that someone visiting here from America would be able to just throw some smoker wood in a suitcase and come on in. Was there anything that you had to do to that wood before you could take it into the States?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It just stacked in around my clothes in the suitcase, and we took 10 kilos of wood. And no, I called customs before I left just to make sure, of course. Imagine leaving a pile of wood at the customs. But no, anything goes in, just nothing comes out or nothing comes home.
Yeah, nothing comes back to Australia, yeah.
No, other than rubs. Rubs we didn't have any problems with. They did get tested because, of course, we bought some rubs over there and opened them and tested them and whatever else have you. And they were checked and they were open, but no problem at all.
Now, were they tested before you got on the plane or after you got back to Australia?
Back, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, no testing over there.
Yeah, g'day, Ben. It's Rowan from Rowan's Barbecue Team Tasmania. I just got a quick question for Julianne. I was just wondering what her best and worst moments of the Houston competition were, and if she picked up any pointers from travelling over to the States that she'd be prepared to share. Thanks, guys. All the best.
Oh, best and worst of Houston. The best would be coming as high as in the category as what we did, but just meeting everybody and sharing in the wonderful. Seriously, it felt like home. We were that welcomed there, and people couldn't be any more hospitable if they tried. So that was definitely a highlight, is just bringing home lots and lots of friends that we hope will come here, and that we can obviously meet up again with when we return, because that is a plan. And the pointers, just have fun. Just have fun, relax. I know there's lots of big competitors there, but once again, you should never underestimate yourself. Just have fun, go with it. Actually, one pointer, please do not drink too much the night before the official turn-ins. Yes, because it is possible. Definitely. Yes, not a good idea. But that goes for every comp, really. But I got into the spirit, definitely, of it. Yes. But no, a pointer would just be to have a ball. Yeah. Have a ball and lap it up, and take lots of photos, get with those other teams, and bring back my memories.
Hi, this is Amanda from Perth, WA. I've been watching the JAGRD journey since inception. Congratulations, guys. But what I'd like to know is, have you thought about outsourcing your manufacturing of the ovens here or overseas to make them a little bit more affordable? Thanks, and congrats again.
That is a great question, Amanda, and one that people have put to us right from the start. Admittedly, yes, our ovens, JAGRDs, are high-ticket items, but once again, you have to sit back and just have a look for a minute at what she does. Like our standard is ranges from $4,500. Now that is like a wool price to a lot of people, but you're not just cooking one method with a JAGRD. You're cooking, you can dehydrate your chipotle, you can low and slow your briskets and your ribs and so on and so forth. You can do your breads and your biscuits. You can do your pizzas parties. If you really want to, open the door when you're done and you've got your outdoor heater. So she does a lot. So I understand people's balk at the price, but we don't want to undervalue. We can't undervalue her either. But as for going overseas and outsourcing, that has been one of my big things is not to do. Our big thing is to support local businesses as much as that doesn't bring the price down. You're getting a good quality product. You know that it's going to be strong and it's going to outlast any or many. But we also want to reach and share with those that feel they can't, which is why we've sort of introduced our interest-free terms over 6 or 12 months. So you can purchase, and what I say is you can pay while you play in that respect. But we've done a little research and in the last 6 to 12 months and to bring the price down so it is more affordable. It may involve outsourcing further, which would certainly free Glenn up and myself up to go and, display or, give people an idea of what she does so we can go and cook for others and introduce her that way, and it would free us up to do that. Going overseas, it's a possibility, a sad possibility, but if we do that, we will certainly still keep our custom JAGRDs built here. So it would not deplete the quality by going overseas, because I wouldn't do it. If it was going to deplete the quality or the capability of it in any way, there's no way we'd go anywhere else. And Glenn, we just have to train others to build them here. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a torn situation, that one. As much as we want to get our product out there, we don't want to lessen its value, so to speak, or take business away from local businesses.
Hi, Julianne. This is Bree from the Gold Coast. Who are your favorite suppliers in Western Australia that listeners should reach out to get the best produce for low and slow?
Good question, Bree. Thank you. There's a couple of, probably a few fellows that I personally go to. First and foremost, it would be Mondo Butchers. They carry some beautiful meats and very reasonable. And Vince and the team there are always happy to help. So Mondo Butchers would be one. And they also support, through Mondo Community Warriors, the charity side, full charity side of barbecue here too. So once again, we support them back. And then there would be Troy Heppel, the secret butcher here. He's a wholesale butcher, but he opens and supplies the barbecue girls and guys and girls here on particular days, like Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. You'll see a lineup of barbecuers going to get his Troy's meats from Troy's Meats. And he supplies our briskets and ribs for competition here for our JAGRD team. And another would be Ray from Warnbro Meats. He's got some beautiful, he's always ready to supply, always ready to give a helping hand and advice on low and slow. And he provides a lot of info and cuts for low and slow and supports that in a great way too. So, but, if you get, depends if you're coming over quickly, so you need a good catch-up. Those three I would certainly recommend. Yeah.
Hi, this is Claire from Perth Hills. I just want to know if JAGRD ovens are going to be expanding their range at all.
Glenn's brain is always going. So, as I said, at the moment, we've got a new model coming out. I could probably, with all that I've shared already, I could probably say we've got, outside our JAGRDs, we've got a new self-feed, basically, charcoal smoker coming out, cabinet smoker. So that is going to definitely enhance the JAGRD range. So it's last night we had it running and got it up to 350 Fahrenheit. So we're always looking at new products. Glenn's always, there's always a chance that we can work full-time on the manufacturing, and also obviously our woods and everything like that we're starting to settle into now and getting those out and supplying those. So as for the smoker range, there's always a possibility of expansion for sure. And, we're just hoping that we're sure this cabinet smoker will take that onto the next level.
There seems to be a lot of interest in cabinet smokers at the moment. I think it's to do a lot with the efficiency of them.
Yeah, well, it was crazy. I mean, as I said, we got it up to 350 last night once she started cranking, and left her at midnight, and come 8 o'clock this morning, she was still sitting on, 100 Celsius or 100 Fahrenheit, sorry. And, so obviously overnight with a little bit of tweaking, she may have gone all the way, but we didn't fill the barrel, so to speak, the chute all the way. So that was just a little test run to see how she burned. But there is, because they're more set and forget. I mean, we're yet to time this one, but we're estimating that you'll get about a 12-hour cook in this cabinet smoker, and she's large enough to hold, the average of that restaurants and stuff. It's just, a great entry level for restaurants and cafes and stuff like that want to get the authentic smoked meats out there. So cabinets are definitely something to look into if you're looking into catering and that sort of thing.
Oh, hi, Ben. It's Linda from New South Wales. Julianne, I'm just curious. We're about to travel to compete overseas, and I just wondered if you had any advice on what I should take or how you obtain all the things that you need to compete when you're overseas.
Hi, Linda, and thank you. I did a little bit of research, obviously, for butchers and stuff like that before we left for Houston. I had a few contacts there already, so if you have contacts overseas, definitely utilise them for local meats and stuff like that. Being in the barbecue scene here allows you to ask those questions a little bit wider. So as for your meats and products and stuff like that, I would definitely ask local, search local on Google, and just go in and have a look. Speak to when we were advised to go to HEB, which is a huge supermarket, seriously, supermarkets overseas or in Houston especially, in Texas, everything's there at your doorstep. So you've got your meat, your alcohol, all in one store. So we went and tapped on the door at the butcher's at HEB and had a chat with him, let him know that we were competing, and they're more than helpful. They brought out box upon box of pork ribs, being our choice, and we were able to pick from the bunch. And so definitely get some local feedback on butchers. And as for travelling as such, pack lightly. I think we took a whole case between us of stuff that we never even touched while we're over there, but that's usually a general rule for most people, pack more than you need. Yeah. So what you should take your knives, your utensils that you would normally use. We obviously took our sleeve, and what else did we take? We took a few of our own flavours, our own spices from here. Of course, depending on where you are, you may even be able to take your favourite wood if it's not available there. And yeah, so just take things that you can't do without, especially your knives from here. Anything else, generally those that you're competing with or the organisers will help you out with. When we were over there, once we got there, we bought some cheap tongs and a brush, and I think I took my brush actually. But it's just those little things that you can pick up at the local supermarket that you don't need to carry. But definitely take your knives and don't pack too heavy.
Hey, Julianne, it's Nigel here from the Gold Coast. As an East Coast Australian in the subtropics, I'm really familiar with the food bowl areas that we've got over here. But all I know about Western Australia is that Margaret River is famous for wine. So are there other areas in WA that have signature foods, and which of those are most relevant for barbecuers?
Oh, the big food bowl area for here is, Carnarvon is a big one. They have all your fruits and your chilies and all those sorts of things. That's a bit north of us. So, yeah, they've got the banana fields and those sort, and, keep everyone up to date there. So, yeah, Carnarvon being the big one. To tell you the truth, we don't really, there's the Gascoyne area, they do a great initiative with the agricultural and food. So Northern Australia, Australia's just taking shape with their what they're doing. So, yeah, for me, I would say Carnarvon's a big one. But then if you're talking meats, I would say Harvey down south. You've got your Harvey beefs and all those sorts of things, and they're growing their meat, so to speak. So, yeah, you sort of got your north and your south, your heat and your cooler areas.
Hi, my name's Jay, and I'm from Meatstock, and you're listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions.
Thank you so much for your time today, Julianne. But before we wrap this up, what are your 3 top tips for people who want to start manufacturing their own smokers?
Oh, first tip is research. Definitely do your research. Get on Google. Do your market research too, to see the viability of what it is you want to bring out onto the market. See if there's a need or you're filling a need in the market. So that would definitely be my first. The second tip would be, obviously make sure that you've got the skill and the tools to work with. Don't go over the top on purchasing a lot of things that you may, find you can do without for a start. Be careful not to put too much funds in to begin with. testing, and definitely test out on family, friends, get opinions. Don't be shy on getting other people's ideas or opinions, for sure, because they might not just be theirs. They might be a broader opinion that you need to take note of. But just be patient and just take your time. I mean, from drawing to conception on the first JAGRD was over 18 months. So it's not something you can have in your head and built, not necessarily the next day. So it will take time. And if it's a product that you're confident in, keep plugging away. Don't give up. Definitely don't give up if it's something you believe in and trust that people are going to want and utilise.
Well, those are some great tips right there, Julianne. Thank you so much for sharing. The confessional is now all yours. Take a couple of minutes, give some shout-outs to whoever you'd like, and tell people where they can get a hold of you on the internet.
Okay. Oh, big thank you goes way back to family and friends that encouraged us to start working Woodfired right from the start, and those that encourage our crazy ideas or Glenn's crazy ideas in building this and that, and and Glenn for all the hard work he does. My goodness, is not often. It's many a time I drag him out of the shed at, after 10 and close to midnight. So he does a huge job. And the barbecue community here in WA. They're a constant encouragement, whether it be through the Smoking on the Water, the Barbecue Club. They're constantly encouraging us and, giving the go-ahead and, letting us know that what we're doing is right and to keep plugging. So their encouragement and friendship has been invaluable. People can get hold of us. Our biggest view of what we get up to is on our Facebook. So just look for JAGRD, JAGRD, through Facebook, JAGRD Woodfired, and you can see and join in what we get up to there. We've got our website, of course, so that's under www.jaggedoutdoorovens, or one word, .com.au. That's yet to be changed to JAGRD Woodfired. And, of course, we've got our Instagram that we're sharing with and building a team there too. So that's where you can get hold of us. And you're most welcome, obviously, through any of those to give us a call and have a chat about what you may want to custom build yourself. We're always available for ideas.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Well, we are now at the end of our interview, so I do want to say one more time, thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge, and I want to wish you all the best of luck for both the JAGRD business and your 2018 comp season. I am going to have to hop on a plane and get over to one of your WA comps very soon.
Absolutely you are, and thank you for having us. No, it's been an honour to have a chat, and definitely you need to get over here. Linda from Highland Q came over last year, and they loved it. So it's definitely a different vibe, so to speak.
I'm looking forward to
it. Thanks, Ben.
Well, family, how good was that? I've often found myself pondering an idea that I've had for something I'd like to build, and that was fascinating to learn just how much work is involved in getting an operation like that up and running. And how cool is Julianne? Make sure you keep up with their adventures on both Facebook and Instagram to become a part of their community. Just run a search for JAGRD and you'll find them. Next Thursday, we'll see us closing out Season 2, but I've saved the best till last. I'll be closing out this ripper of a season with one of the most well-known personalities in Australian barbecue, and now the American barbecue scene too. I'm speaking, of course, of Jess Pryles, co-founder of the ABA and now internationally published author based out of Texas. In this interview, Jess is going to be revealing all about her journey from Melbourne to Texas and also what it takes to become a published author. If you have a bunch of recipes that you reckon would look good in print, you got to tune into this episode. Big thanks and much gratitude go out to this episode's sponsors, Clean Heat Charcoal, Pitt Brothers BBQ, and Ministry of Smoke. Their support makes this project possible. I've put their links in the episode description, so please click on through to their sites to claim those awesome offers for you loyal Smoking Hot Confessions listeners. If you have a message you'd like to get out in front of a barbecue mad audience, send me an email directly at ben@smokinghotconfessions.com and let's have a conversation. Shoutouts also have to go to those who called in and left questions for Julianne. Bronnie, Benton, Dion, Alan, Paul, Rowan, Amanda, Bree, Claire, Linda, and Nigel. It was awesome to see so many people with questions for Julianne, and she had a fantastic time answering them. If you'd like more, I have published a free ebook just for you. Head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com/ebooks to get your copy now. I've put a link in the description. Also, head on over to Facebook and join the Smoking Hot Confessions community, and let's continue the conversation. It's a group dedicated to teaching, learning, and sharing all about barbecue, and all the BS is left at the door. Everybody has a place in the Smoking Hot Confessions community. Finally, however you listen to this episode, please make sure you subscribe and leave a review. This way, the episodes will be delivered to more people's devices by a group of wild things led by a naughty boy named Max. Until next time, take care of each other and keep on queuing.
Thanks for listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com for recipes, tips, and Ben's own confessions.